So one of the things that I wanted to do with Maschine is to challenge myself to make a track using just the 8 groups. So this is a real back to basics approach, almost taking it back to the hardware days when we had really limited setups. So I've got here 8 groups, and I'm going to take you through an example. I'm just going to show you what I've built up here. And you know, I like what I've got. I like the concept, and I like the sound of it. It really feels like there's a vibe here, and it's definitely something that I want to turn into a finished composition. But this is just to show you, get yourself some limitations. It's actually really quite a nice exercise. So the groups I've got here, a selection. I've got some main beats. I've got some percussion. You can see that here. And let me see if I can expose the programming data. There we go. West African kit is adding a little bit of kind of ethnic flavor into that. The stabs, we've got here some little kind of one-shot samples. There's a vocal that's being triggered here every now and again. The 808 drums, and that's there. Vox hits. What have I done with this? Oh yeah, there we go. There's some timing there, and a little chant vocal here, which is a sample, which you may recognize. I've tried to twist it very slightly, and I'm going to use the hardware, just taking a little tour, and have a think about it after. So solo literally the drums to start off with. Let's have a listen. I can use the mute button to bring in elements, so this has got a nice kind of hardware on the fly vibe. That's the percussion coming in now. So maybe I'll bring in one of the vocals. Let's go for this G one on the next time round. Here we go. Bring in the percussion, the West African kit. Bring the stabs in on the next time round as well. Bring the vocal in. 808 percussion. So we'll go with the vocal sample now, the chant. Here we go. I'll take out the beats. So you see the concept, you can just jam around with the groups, soloing, muting, get a little bit of a kind of on the fly vibe out of it, which really takes you back to the days of the hardware drum machines. So if I was to structure that, I love all that kind of sort of vibing and jamming with it kind of vibe. I think that would be cool. Maybe recording that into one of the DAWs. I don't know, there's pros and cons to working with Maschine in as a VST, was an audio unit plugin within the DAW, so we could have all this synced up multi outputs, different ways to work with it. But at the moment I'm really vibing on using Maschine in standalone mode and just playing down some elements, getting them in here, and then having to think about it. My gut instinct on this one is that I would export these as audio, but there's something that is worth considering. If I go to the master here, I am using a couple of effects on the master, which is giving a certain vibe that I really like. One of these is that transient master effect. I've got a funny feeling that you can use the Maschine effects as plugins inside the DAW. That's something I need to investigate. If so, what I would do is I would take off this transient master, which is really adding a texture. I'll tell you what, let me play it for you. So here we go. It's with the effect. Without, and you can see also that we've gone over the 0 point here because the limiter is off on there, so that's adding a real character to it. So if I take that off, it was limiting before, as well as adding this character here with the transient master. What I'd need to do is to bring the overall output level down and then export. So that's the consideration. If I'm going to export the audio files, I'll do this without the transient master, and then I would add that after. Or I could actually have all this as it is, literally, just including that effect. And then in the mix down on the other side, just consider that's the added texture. You know, so there's also things to think about here when you're doing this. So I would say, you know, I like the character of that effect. I'd like to hear that effect on top of other elements that I'm going to add on a DAW. So what I'll probably do is do a follow-up video on this once I've got the structure and everything laid out, and then you can see the approach that I've used. All right, so if you guys have got any comments about sort of stuff that you would do, feel free, put them down in the YouTube comments underneath. It's totally up to you. And I'm always interested to hear about what other Maschine users do, because this thing can be used in different ways. All right, so that's it. Just another look at the Maschine.